I think that's the right angle. Let's do it! A giant pitchfork. As you all probably know, I am a high school senior. And I have been doing my high school band class for 3 years now. I joined in sophomore year, and we have different types of bands and stuff at my school. So sophomore year I did nothing but concert band festival, but junior year I did 2 of them, concert band as well as pep band, which is pretty much we just follow the basketball team around with a bunch of instruments and play at their games. And then senior year I did 3 types of bands. I did concert band, I did pep band, and of course I did marching band, which was pretty fun. And considering as I'm recording this, senior year is coming up to a close right about now, the only one I'm doing right now is concert band festival. We still got a couple concerts left to go or whatever. But yeah, since I never really talked about my band class and stuff, apart from the 3 or so vlogs that I did about it, I am going to talk to you about my experience in band class. Particularly, at least until some other time in the future, pep band. But yeah, if you want me to do a marching band episode later on, go ahead and tell me in the comments, and maybe in the future I'll do it. So since I did a couple vlogs on pep band, this explanation is going to be very, very simple. If there was a basketball game that they expected you to show up at, you showed up at a certain time, probably about an hour before the actual basketball game. You got out your instruments, you practiced a little bit, you went out to the gym, you sat in the corner of the gym, over there at the corner, and you jammed out to your heart's content. That's pretty much it. But yeah, you would sit there, you would watch the game, and you would play whenever there was a timeout, or if it was the ending of a quarter, or pretty much all throughout halftime, or just whenever the band director wanted us to play. If you watched the video New Year, New Pep Band vlog that I put out, you're probably familiar with songs like Go Big Red, Louie Louie, Mary Had a Little Lamb, and of course, our school song, The Victims. But we also did cover tunes of Painted Black, Land of a Thousand Dances, and Smoke on the Water. Land of a Thousand Dances was pretty fun, but personally, I liked the Land of 2,000 Dances better. I think it's got twice the groove that Land of a Thousand has. We also got to travel to places during our tournaments. During the district championship, you would probably end up just sitting at your own school, or you might go to a different school, which is what we did senior year during the district championship. And then you would travel even further when whenever you went to regional championship. And if you managed to get to the state championship, you, in the case of the Kentuckians, went to If you were in the percussion section, you either played the bass drum, the snare drum, or the tenor drums. During my junior year, I played the bass drum, and there's nothing really to the bass drum. All you gotta do is hit the drum with the mallet. Sometimes you hit the rim with the opposite side. You just remember the pattern and play it when you're ready. That's it. Which made it easy to play, so that's fine. During my junior year, we managed to go to district, regional, and state, although we lost the first game in state, so that means you can't move on any further. I remember one of the state games, there were 4 bass drum players at this game, and a couple of us lost our mallets, including me. I didn't have any mallets. This other kid over here, who I'm just going to call Sean, he didn't have any mallets either, so only 2 of us had mallets. And we went out to our spot, and we set up our bass drums, and the first song started playing, and I'm just super depressed because I can't play anything right now. And so I just like stare at people and hope they don't notice. But then a quarter way through the song, I just look at the palm of my hand and I go, I could use it. And basically just start dog slapping the ever loving frick out of my freaking drum. And then halfway through, Julian the band director, did something very, 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 very fun. He went to the people that had both of their mallets, and he grabbed one of them out of their hands and gave them to us who had no mallets. So all four of us only had one mallet throughout the entire game. You can imagine that wouldn't be too fantastically disastrous. We had plenty of songs that you could play with one hand. Go Big Red, The Victors, Land of a Thousand Dances, Hey Song if you were quick enough. But every now and then, because we were expected to have two mallets, we had songs that you needed to play with two mallets. Painted Black, it's our cover tune of Painted Black by the Rolling Stones. All four of us had one mallet, so we had to compromise. We had to do something about it. And just to clarify, that was because there were rhythms in there that we could not play with only one mallet. I just wanted to clarify because apparently I was bad at explaining things when I was filming this video, so... What do you think we did in this scenario? Did we A, simplify the pattern, B, played quarter notes, or C, gave our mallets to the two most experienced players who actually know how to play the song? I'll give you 10 seconds to answer. Wrong! We didn't do any of those! Those answers were too smart for us to comprehend. We just put on our best Sonic impression, waved our arms vigorously like we were in bed, and yeeted Julian's hopes and dreams off a cliff! I will never forget the lecture that we got after that song was over. The fire in his eyes is burned into my soul. I actually don't remember a lot about the junior year of pep band, but senior year is very crystal clear, especially since a lot of this script was actually written on the bus coming back from those championship games. Plenty of the games are actually quite boring, especially in the second half of the basketball season. It was either we beat the other school to a bloody pulp, or they beat us. Either way, it would be a huge dramatic lead. And that did not make it interesting. That's like the science behind addictiveness in anything. That's why slot machines are so popular at casinos, because you don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know whether or not you're gonna fail. You don't know whether or not you're gonna win, so it makes it interesting. These basketball games, at least a lot of them, were not like that. And if we were like going back and forth, or like we constantly had a 1 point behind or 1 point ahead type situation, I would be having a good time. I would be screaming, I would be mimicking the cheerleaders doing all their moves. We had a cheer that went Go Big Red, and I did it almost every time because I'm a boss. We did it and I had a good time. But if we had a huge lead or something, I just didn't care enough. Or if they had a huge lead, I just didn't care enough. I never understood the people that would always keep on screaming and screaming and screaming right next to us, even though there was not a chance that we would ever be able to actually make it. We played one game in the state championship, and it was at Knott County, which, by the way, they have some good cheeseburgers at their concession stand, so if you live in the Knott County area, you might as well get to visit. And the student section was like seated right next to where the band had to set up, so I had to watch multiple high school ladies just go and by the end of the game we were like 5 minutes into the game and they had a 7 to 8 point lead on us. So at that point, why keep screaming? I'm not one to throw in the towel easily, but like they're not just gonna randomly stop. They have a 7 to 8 point lead on us, and we're 5 minutes away from ending the freaking game. There's no way that we're gonna be able to win this. But I swear, there have been times where we gotten huge leads, and then I'm just like, okay, so we have an incredibly huge lead and we're a quarter and a half from ending. So I'm just gonna get on my tablet, download some music, and then, you know, I would just do my thing. I would download the music, all that stuff, and then it would be 3 minutes into 3 minutes away from ending the entire game. And I look up, and they have a 1-point lead away from us. Alright, apparently I shouldn't have let my guard down. I thought that we had this in the bag because of how huge our lead was. But apparently, basketball games are like children. The worst thing happens when you turn away from them for 1 second. And I would spend the last 3 minutes of that game wondering, is me yelling and mimicking the cheerleaders after looking at my tablet for half an hour for the last 3 minutes of the game gonna make me look insincere to all the peers who, by the way, cheer me on whenever we start playing the songs, and they're gonna give me some weird looks, and they're gonna think I don't care about anything even though I showed up with my tenor drums playing for all these people to hear? Thanks a lot, Somerset High School. I'm gonna have commitment problems because of you. Anyway, in short, I had fun. Traveled, I screamed, and it added a lot onto my high school experience. So if you guys have a band program that follows your basketball team around and you like playing music, go join them. And you know who else you can join? Me! On my quest to stream every single memory and thought that I have out onto the internet via this camera. So if you want to join that, give me a like, give me a comment, give me a subscribe, give to my Patreon, follow my Twitter, check out my Discord server, and I guess I will see you all next time I get back on the internet.